Hello there! A blessed day to each and everyone. I am Jello from the Knowledge Management and Information Systems Division, and I welcome you to the DA Bar Online Seminar Series. But before anything else, I would like to greet my colleagues here at the Bureau and all our research for development partners all over the country and even abroad. Higit sa lahat, mapagpalang umaga po sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda na patuloy pong tumututok sa ating seminar series para sa kaalaman at mga napapanahong teknolohiya na maaari po nilang pakinabangan. Alright, we've been receiving warm greetings din po from our viewers sa ating live stream sa ating pong official FB page. So, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ayan. So we have a greeting watching from Nueva Vizcaya State University, Bayombong Campus. Good morning po, Ma'am Maylene. Watching from Taft Eastern Samar, magandang umaga po, Sir Marvin. Also watching from Nueva Vizcaya State University, si Ma'am Noemi, magandang umaga po. And another greeting from Apayao State College. Magandang umaga po, Ma'am Maureen Joy. So there, please share the link po ng ating seminar para mas marami pong maabot ng mga kaalaman na tatalakayin po natin sa ating paksa ngayong umaga. And to our viewers and participants, please fill out the attendance form through the link in the comment section. Please write down your questions or queries din po, for we might have enough time later to address those right after our speaker's presentation. Ayan. For today, let's get to learn what's more to a common fish commodity that we get to enjoy in many of our favorite dishes, the tilapia. Magandang pagkakataon din po ito para sa ating mga kaibigang food processors at mga mangingisda kung paano pa lalong mapagkakakitaan ang tilapia. At syempre, para po sa ating mga kaibigang researchers, maaaring magbigay ito ng mga karagdagang kaalaman at maaaring mga katanungan din para patuloy pa nating malinang ang industriya ng tilapia. So without much ado, let me now introduce our brilliant resource speaker, researcher, and an R4D partner. Our very special guest is one of the Nueva Vizcaya State University's dedicated researchers and professors. An agribusiness management graduate, she also has vast knowledge and expertise from her master's and doctorate degrees in business administration. She is also an agribusiness researcher for social sciences, business, and business education. She is none other than Dr. Cherry Bulan Cabading. Good morning, Dr. Cherry.
Good morning, Jello. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can go on with the presentation na po, ma'am. I know you are very much excited. Enjoy, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. So let me share my journey in completing the commercialization project that was funded by the Bureau of Agricultural Research through the Department of Agriculture under Dr. William Dar. So, welcome everyone. And let me start by introducing to you my project team who were with me, who were with me during those moments of my struggles and journey, and of course, finally my accomplishments, and of course our success. We have Ms. Gina Bison, Dr. Salvosa, and Mr. Ramon Bangao as part of our project team. Okay. Am I audible? Yeah. All right. So this project was actually funded through the Department of Agriculture Competitiveness Enhancement Fund through the Department of Agriculture. So the project addresses the research and development and extension agenda, which is food security and market access. So we have a package of technology which is the fish powder and the fish cream soap. And of course, part of our accomplishments was the development and the registration of the Spoonligo trademark. And then we have the utility models and the tech transfer. Okay, what made this successful is up to its tech transfer. Okay. So let me provide you a brief background, but I think it's a long shot. So this was implemented by the NVSU, and the initial cooperating agency was the CB Entrepreneurship and Savings Cooperative in partnership with the Nueva Vizcaya Agriculture Office, the Provincial Agriculture Office, Aquaculture Association, Proceed, and of course NVSU. It actually started during the COVID period, so at the peak of the COVID period, and it was completed on April 30, 2022. So it was 1.5 year of project implementation. The main beneficiaries are the CBSCC and of course the Noviskaya Aquaculture Association. And finally, we have the adopter, which is the Agriskaya Cooperative. As a background, we have started with the initial production, and then we proceed with the product launch, scaling of production, then we proceed with marketing and distribution, and of course, we have identified potential market and revenue. So behind these activities, of course, would be the networking, funding, and market linkaging, and of course, the collaboration with institutional buyers and stakeholders as well. We had actually started with 8 batches, but then we made it up to 60,000 packs, opting to have 15% return on investment. And of course, the capacitation of the community beneficiary, which had become part of the people behind the production and commercialization of the project. So here are our project accomplishments. So we have, of course, the first thing we did was the inception and coordination with those stakeholders that we have in the province and outside the province. Then we have the prepared for the budget, for the fund, for the um, allocation of the budget that was received from the DA ASF, and then we have tested the facilities that we have during our implementation. So the next is we hired staff from our community beneficiaries and the issuance of the designations. So here are some of the snapshots of uh, the implementation of the project. So we did have consultative meetings with the provincial local government unit and the farmer cooperators for the sustainability of the supply of the project. We also have coordinated with the Department of Trade and Industry. So we initially have so we sought their assistance, whatever when it comes to the packaging and all those resources that can be needed in the implementation of the project. And then we trained students at the same time, members of the cooperative, and we provided good manufacturing practices, and it's a CCP or HACCP training for the to capacitate those producers that we have tapped in the cooperative as the operators. So the workshop was actually conducted through the assistance and help, of course, or expertise of Ms. De Guzman from Isabela State University. So here are our initial processing activities and product prototyping. So at first, um, we did have this processing at the initial stage. However, since the project was initially an idea of a former developer, the product idea was actually um, inherited from Dr. Tiburcio. Yeah. However, the composition was actually not accepted. So during the initial product prototyping, we really had it was actually a rigorous moment. It's because um, the process was not really transferred to us, but we did experimented on how do we get to come up with a specific product. So at first we have uh, gotten the assistance or sought the assistance of one of the staff, the former staff of Dr. Tiburcio. However, since as a project leader, and I may be, I may be not that, uh, I may not be a food technologist, but I know how things work when, especially when we evaluate products. So I think we did come up with a better composition of the product. So, but however, we have the initial composition evaluated first by consumers for them to have a rate of the liking using the hedonic scale uh, instrument. Okay. So we this one that you can see on slide is actually the initial prototype product. So we had processed 50 units of no by packets. We have processed and packaged 50 units in 120 grams prototype product food samples. I hope you could see this. And then we had this consumer product testing. We come up with a liking scale of 6. A liking scale of 6 is not actually good for a product. So we have to come up with a better uh, composition and taste. So for the product prototyping, let me read to you. The production of the first set of prototype was done on May 2020 through December 2020. So it's actually around 7 months. So it was introduced to consumers and we had this liking scale of 6. This is actually bad. So the latter relatively low mean of 6 prompted me to improve the product and subsequently evaluated by food tech experts. The advice of the food tech expert consultant was then sought and enlisted by the project leader, this is me. Okay. The former suggested major changes in the combination and proportion of raw materials, which we came up with on February 2021. So I consulted a food manufacturer because I am an agribusiness graduate and I believe that I need an expert. It's not just a food tech expert but also involved in the industry. So I have sought the assistance of a food tech expert under the Delhi Best Blends, who is Dr. Miss Alma Grace Concepcion Manzano. Okay. So I went to their factory and collaborated with her. All right. So then we came up with a product. So new product composition. So we then have a soft launch. We initially carried the name Asian Spoon. Okay. However, Asian Spoon was already registered with uh, by a restaurant owner somewhere in Cebu, in the Visayas region. So we have come up with another brand name for the fish cream soap. So these are our initial package testing in display. Then we have the sensory evaluation again. So a sensory evaluation of 300 subjects, okay, conducted among 300 subjects with a resulting mean of 8. out of a 9, out of mean rating of 9, representing a more qualitative improvement on the perceived quality of the product. Okay. So we have invited around 300 guests, okay, across the province and outside the province. Okay, we had guests from the hospitals, from um, and other stakeholders from the region. So we come up with, from the upper right of the photo, we have here the original packaging, and then we have the original trademark that they used, and then we have developed Asian Spoon, then came up with Spoondigo as the brand name, which was registered to the Intellectual Property Office. So we did had mass production after that. So for the continuous supply, we coordinated with the president of the Nueva Vizcaya Tilapia Growers Association upon the transfer of technology and facilities to community adopter. So we did have memorandum of agreement and licensing ceremony after after the completion of the project. So our product now, after the mass production, is a 20-gram matte finish product, which is packed in aluminum plastic material, and it's out actually in the market. All right, so we have the following physical properties and ingredients, which includes modified starch, iodized salt, whey powder, creamer, refined sugar, celery, ginger, garlic, etc. So after coming up with the new composition, we had the grand launch, launching the name Spundigo. So it was conducted on December 17, 2021 at the Nueva Vizcaya Convention Center. So it was actually facilitated, and actually we were been honored to have the it was an honor actually to have the convention center provided to us by the late Governor Carlos M. Padilla. And so we did have this grand launch on December 17, 2021. So it was actually Dr. Rose Rania Padilla who was then our officer in charge. So here are the following snippets of the capacity building that was provided to various participants from the Aquaculture Growers Association, and of course the adapting community, which is the College of Business Education, Entrepreneurship, Entrepreneurs and Savings Cooperative. So we did turned over around 69,468 packets of Spundiga fish cream soup to the CBSCC on April 27, 2022. And the formal turnover took place on August 26, 2022 at the Sabatan Techno Hub. Okay, here are some photos of our adapters and distribution partners. We were facilitated by the Vizcaya Livelihood and Pasalubong Center under the Proceed Department of the Nueva Vizcaya provincial office. We have Delhi Best Blends, and we have Alta Bistro. We have Datus Store, or a local store in the province, and other stores in rural areas. So we also participated in trade fairs and exhibits to promote the product. And we did have, so here are our project meetings and the monitoring conducted by the DA bar team. Okay, so as a summary, our commercialization project was actually successful. So despite the pandemic, production and commercialization of the fish crimson was effectively completed with the following recommendations. So maybe we'll be needing FDA approved facility, and um, it, the CBSC should penetrate large scale digital marketing, specifically in Shopee or Lazada. So the Spundiga fish cream soap should register to the FDA to attract more customers, and a minimum of royalty can be collected, uh, which has actually been part of the memorandum of agreement that was forged during the tech transfer in March 2024. All right, so here are our label, packaging, and trademark. So, so you can see the transition from this one at the middle. If you can see at the middle, we have the original packaging developed by Dr. Tiburcio. So the project was handed to me with this kind of packaging and with a different combination of raw materials and a different, I think it was registered in a different utility model. So coming up with a composition which is not accepted entirely by consumers, even by those who food experts actually confronted me to develop new composition. Okay. So from this to Asian spoon to the Spundigo trademark. Okay. So let me share to you some of the photos of the production process and composition. All right. So we did have acquired raw materials from the Nueva Vizcaya Aquaculture's produce. So they deliver their produce to the area where we have started the production. Then of course you have to weigh, receive them, wash, okay, rinse. So these are the procedures in the production process, and we have to steam, strain, and then you have to pound and spread through the baking sheet. Then you have to oven dry for around 40 minutes. And then you have to pulverize. Then you have to look at the moisture through the moisture analyzer. So it should have at least 2 to 3 moisture content. And then of course you have to weigh your output for the powdered fish. And then of course mixing the other ingredients and packaging would require you a mixer and packaging device or equipment, and of course the develop packaging material. All right, so maybe I need a help for the video for the packaging. Final mixing, after final mixing this powder to other ingredients, you have to make packaging material and of course the equipment itself. So we have a three-way packaging equipment. Okay, so that's the final part of the production and yeah, actually production and packaging. Now on commercialization, you did have seen earlier what process that we have done. So we have collaborated with stakeholders and other private firms in order for us to communicate our product, to distribute products, and let our products be known to the market. And of course, one significant output for this one would are actually the registered trademark, the IPO, utility models for both process and composition to protect the technology that was actually redeveloped. So the idea is there, which was borrowed from Dr. Tiburcio, but the composition and the entire product is actually very much different. So it's something that it's not actually idea. It is an idea that was borrowed, however, it was improved. Okay, borrowed in a sense that it was actually transferred to me. Like I'm puzzled on how am I gonna implement it. So it was through the encouragement of Dr. Wilfred Dumale and Dr. Joner Yago for me to implement the commercialization of the developed product idea. I would say it's a product idea that was developed by Dr. Uh, Tiburcio. So we could not deny the fact that the idea is coming from her. However, it should when you speak of commercialization, it should be accepted by customers across segments of the market. It should not just be uh, it should not just be limiting to a specific market niche in a way that all of those raw materials that you will be needing should be there. So for you to sustain production and of course to reach out for your customers order, you have to look at the supply chain. One of the most significant or say the rigors or difficulties that I have had during the initial stage is that where will I get these raw materials? So the from the original raw materials, which is so difficult to organize and source out, is actually something that bothered me a lot. And then when we tried to produce it and come up with the product that was based on the paper that was provided to me to implement, then we tried testing it or say we have it tested for consumer tasting. Then it did not pass the taste of the general consumers that we have, especially for those whom I have introduced the initial product. So it's really very challenging to not for the initial product to have not been accepted. So we really, as an agribusiness graduate, okay, we may not be food technologists, but we are managers at the same time. We are thinkers, so we have to tap the appropriate people. So if you don't have it, you have to look for people who could help you. Yeah. So the role of the food tech expert who did not actually collect uh, any amount of money from me was very significant. It's one of if you're if you are a manager and you lack the resource, you have to search for it. You have to find it. You have to make things happen. So one lesson also that I have actually learned from this project is that when you commercialized, you have to see to it that the materials, all the raw materials, the supply of raw materials has to be available from your sources. So it should not just stop. Okay? And you should know your suppliers. Okay? If you will if you don't know who your partners in the production and commercialization are, then the project will just die. And during the COVID period, so one of the rigorous moments is the COVID period. The project was actually implemented during the COVID period. So when you go to Manila, you will be quarantined for 2 weeks, and then you come out and implement the project. So it was really very difficult to implement the project by that time, because no one would like to help you go out and look for the materials or resources that you need. No one would like to go to the market because they don't want to die and get infected and die, because this period of implementation is actually the peak period of the COVID, where a lot of people died even in our province. So I am very glad and I am very blessed that I didn't get infected. So I wasn't infected at all, despite my coming out every week or every 2 weeks. I go to Manila. Uh, I go to the factory of my partner, Miss Manzano, and then I search for raw materials and suppliers for equipment, etc. So it was really a very tough moment that time to implement such project. So when you implement, say, such project like this, it's a very challenging activity to implement a project of this like this rather. It's really very challenging. It really it will challenge your commitment. You have a job, at the same time you have a project to implement in a way that it should be accomplished. So I almost let go of this project. It's because of a lot of adversaries and adversities. Okay. So the adversaries and adversities, as I know you know those. So as a project leader, I cannot overemphasize that the fact that I could not have achieved all the goals that we have set to accomplish, especially during the time of pandemic restrictions and various protocol, and without the unflagging and yeoman support of the project team, eh, the research, extension, and training, of course, the DA bar, ASEF, monitoring team, and of course, on a personal note, I would like to thank Dr. Benjamin Enwego, who have engaged himself in frequent brainstorming sessions with me about how to go about my the study's possible applications and limitations. And he actually introduced me to his respectable networks and fraternity brothers and sisters for me to collect and evaluate product acceptability and others. So if there are things that you would like to know more, I am free to answer. And thank you very much.
Ayan, thank you so much, Dr. Cherry, for the comprehensive presentation and a good dose of inspiration for our food processors and, most importantly, our R4D researchers and partners. So, may I invite our viewers naman to please hit that applause, like, or heart reaction to comment and thank our brilliant speaker. Marami pong salamat. Ayan, so I guess Dr. Cherry invited our viewers just a while ago. For sure, they are sparked with the ideas, with the queries as well, because of this very interesting topic. Ayan, so hello Dr. Cherry, ready ka na po to address several questions?
Yeah, I'll be very glad to answer.
Okay, thank you po. All right, let's have the first question. Okay, wait lang po at atin pong i-flash. Ayan, so our first question, ma'am, is, syempre nag-iisip-isip yung ating mga food processors, mga agripreneurs, even yung mga negosyante. Yung ganito po bang klase ng produkto na hindi pa ganun ka common sa mga grocery store? Ang tanong po, ma'am, ay may market ba talaga itong tilapia cream soup in case that they will be adopting the technology? And for those who are really interested, ano po kaya, ma'am, if you can give them an idea kung ano po yung ROI ng ganitong klase ng technology?
Yeah, I guess I have thank you very much, Jello. The return on investment would actually be above 15%. And when it comes to the market, our market is would actually segment from kids to senior. Okay, those who would like to those who are soup lovers, and one of our adopter of the technology is actually the market of the technology adapter are the kids. So I would like to share to you that since we have developed the technology out of the support or fund of the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, NVSU would actually be marketing the technology. In case that you would adapt the technology, you could find your market either through export or at the local markets. Just like one of our adapters, which is the Agriskaya. Actually, in our location alone, when we have launched the product, I have introduced this for around 29 pesos. So if you use, because the Knorr soup was actually priced 50 pesos at that time. So if you were able to taste this, is actually better than the Knorr. Okay, the Knorr products and other products are actually the composition of the ingredients that they actually introduce is just 1%. For this, we have 3% fish per pack. It's like when you are to look at a new, the tilapia is actually one half of one specific, just this size of tilapia. Okay, so if you're eating this, if you tried this, you ate one half of a tilapia in powder. Okay. So I don't know if I was able to answer you. 15%, you can have a markup of 15%. One of a possible adapter that I may be having is the one Vizcaya Export. However, we were not able to come up with the actual fairness opinion and board, or the final report rather, for her fairness opinion on board price, because they have, if you are to adopt this, we have to undergo FOB if the price that you're trying to offer for you to have the technology or the process for fish soup would be managed by the fairness opinion and board through the Department of Science and Technology. So far, one successful FOB result came up, and we have the Agriskaya. So we'll be training them on how to produce this soup, but of course, it's just the process. So we have two utility models that were actually shared, or we have two that was registered in the Intellectual Property Office. And what was acquired by the Agriskaya is that she will not maintain our trademark, but what she bought is the process only. So we'll be training them with the process, and the composition actually is a different part of the technology. So we're marketing the technology, not the product. So if you would be one of those investors later on, we'll be training you on how to do this. And of course, if you're interested, you could also introduce this to your own market. So if you're into business, it's not possible that you can find a market for a specific product. One Vizcaya actually is, I would like to market it outside the Philippines. So export, she would like to market it outside. So it's an export. So she's eyeing for an export market because she has introduced this product. However, it the transfer of technology has not yet been successful because of some documents that she has to provide, and because of her busy schedule, she was not able to complete the document that have been provided to the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Science and Technology Fairness Opinion Board team. So there's a market for this product.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. At ang maganda nga po dun sa, siguro to emphasize din lang po, una, maganda po yung naiba, tama, naiba po yung produkto, kasi hindi pa siya ganun nakikita sa market, Pero ang kinaganda po kasi nun ay kung, syempre alam po natin na ang isda ay magandang source po ng protina, at saka ng mga fatty acid, ng omega oil na na beneficial po sa katawan. Kaya nga po sabi ni Doc Cherry kanina, ang target talaga ng ganitong klase ng produkto ay yung mga bata, spanning from mga bata hanggang dun sa matatanda kasi beneficial, mas lamang yung beneficial na effect po na itong paglalaman ng tilapia o isda sa isang cream soup, So mas maganda 'yon na sana mas matanggap ng ating mga consumer. And another thing din po, very encouraging, Doc Cherry, we are actually promoting the technology more than the product. Kaya nga po, this can be inspiring sa atin po mga food processors, maging sa ating mga mangingisda, Doc Cherry. And that leads me to the next question po. Okay, let's have the next question. Ayan. Yung proseso po ba ng paggawa ng tilapia cream soup, yung teknolohiya po, ito po ba ay kakayanin ng mga, sabihin na natin, mga pangkaraniwan po nating mangingisda? Ano-ano po kaya yung mga equipment in case na kailangan nilang mag-invest? Ano-ano po kaya yung mga equipment na kailangan nilang i-prioritize para sa ganitong klase ng pagpoproseso or teknolohiya po?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Maybe for the fish growers, they could actually do this. They could produce by organizing equipment like basic equipment. First, for the fish powder, we have the oven drying, simple casseroles for backyard production. Are you saying for background production or at a large scale? For backyard, or say small scale only, like say if you would like to produce around 1,000 kilos a week or a day. 1,000 kilos is actually huge enough for a casserole to be, or an oven to manufacture, or to dry rather. So when we produce, we would be needing oven. Kahit yung oven po na basic oven like what you use in baking. Sa baking oven. We use the baking oven during our product prototyping. Yung manual na sinisindihan ninyo. Gas type, what says, uh, yung nakakapaso. Pwede po yun. Yung nakakapasong oven na ang you will be using the parang yung meron tayong long handled ladle. Yeah. Then we have gas, of course, the tube gas for you to fuel the oven. And of course, you need continuous supply tilapia. Okay. And the drying is we have a strainer. So that's for a strainer. Of course, you need a sink. Yeah. Sink, casserole, strainer, sieve. Then you have mortar and pestle, or you can use the yeah, you can have knife, of course, knife, and those basic things that I provided to you earlier. So that is just for drying. But when it comes to the entire mixing, um, if the if these farmers are organized in a cooperative, they may have a small room like say 5 by 20 can be. Okay. And then you equip it with oven and kitchen utensils like the ladle, you have the casserole, you have, of course, you need a gas stove, not just the oven, because you have to steam and cook. You should also have water facility. Water is important, and then the room should be screened and it should be away from any hazardous or any contaminants, and of course should not you should not animals, of course, are not prohibited in the area. So you should have a very safe room for you to produce the uh, just even the powder itself should be very safe. So when you produced, you should practice good manufacturing practices, observe good manufacturing practices, and they should have a training for HACCP or HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Okay, it's very important for them to have that training because it's not just simply producing a product, but of course, you should deliver a product that is safe. It should be free from any contaminants. So it's just simple to pack in a. That's what I observed from people from organizations. So just simply pack it in a Tetra Pak, just like what I have shown earlier. But you should take note that when you are to offer products in the market, it should be safe. It should be handled safely. That you will learn it from the training of HACCP. So the moisture content alone within the regular room, would bring in bacteria and other virus. So if you will pack your product in just a normal room, it's not a factory. Okay, so it's not in a factory, and not it's a non-factory setup without the humidifying machines, etc. Then your product would just last for less than 6 months. Okay, that's one thing that you have to consider when you, even for biscuits or any simple product that we offer in the market. Okay, even kasi marami tayong products that we develop and we have registered this for etc. But we were never aware na yung mga produktong pinak ninyo was not actually packed in a very safe room in a way that you have reduced contaminants. Okay. So one thing important in in selling or in producing and selling or marketing food products is that it should be very safe. Should be safe. Food safety is important when you sell or manufacture and sell products. Okay, so it can be produced by farmers, but they have to have a good facility. I hope
Okay,
you.
yes. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. Ano, number one for really giving our viewers a very good picture ano kung gaano kasimple yung mga equipment na available naman pala sa bahay ano if they only have a checklist no marirealize nila na yung mga binanggit po natin kanina mga common ano po ito mga cooking equipment po na meron tayo or posibleng makita po sa ating mga bahay. Pero thank you for raising that point as well. Ano? Ito pong ating seminar ay we would like to give an idea. Ano? Pero training is what's really needed. Ano? If you are really interested to venture into food processing, food safety, no, na mention kanina ni Doc Cherry, that's very important. Okay, more than just trying a business like this, ano, earning or whatsoever, that's very important. Ano, we have to secure that the products that we are producing are actually safe for our consumers. And the seminar series is not really a platform really to train. Ano, so we just would like to give our viewers an idea na ito yung mga pwedeng gawin. Ano, so anyway, later po ano bibigay po natin yung contact details ni Doc Cherry. And you can also for our viewers, you can contact the regional field offices po of the DA and even ATI para po sa mga technologies and mga training and capacity building po na pwede nating daluhan. Now, in connection doon sa sinasabi ni Doc Cherry kanina, since ito po kasing seminar series natin, halo-halo ang ating mga viewers. Meron tayong mga fisherfolk, may farmers, meron pong mga negosyante. Okay? Meron din po tayong mga researchers katulad po ni Doc Cherry. Now, this question may be coming from the perspective po of a researcher. So let's have this question po. Although this is not really part of the project, pero can we give an idea po, Doc Cherry, sa atin po mga fellow researchers na maaring nakiliti ang kanilang isipan na may ganito palang klase ng technology? Ano pa kayang ibang isda na pangkaraniwang na ani ng ating mga mangingisda ang pwedeng pag-aralan or pwedeng dumaan din sa ganitong proseso ng study or pwedeng magamit for this processing technology as well?
Okay, thank you again for that beautiful question. This fish soup is actually not limited to tilapia only. Kaya siya naging tilapia based, it's because it is what is available in the region. So the idea is based on the resource availability. But it can also be, you can also use imelda fish if you have imelda fish and other cheap fish products like so if you think that galunggong is cheap in your place, you can consider it. And according to the food tech expert that I have consulted, for other end users, they would like to look at they are looking for yung, alam mo yung lasa ng isda. Like, yung lansa niya. Hahanapin nila yun. Okay. Maybe for us Filipinos, we don't like malansa, but for other culture, they like to look. They're searching for the taste. Okay. I have also had feedbacks like, nasan yung tilapia taste ng fish soup? Hindi namin nalalasahan. So maybe you're not familiar with tilapia. It's because we should very well know that tilapia doesn't have any. It's a boring fish. Wala siyang lasa. Kaya nga sinasawsaw niyo yan sa bagoong o kaya sa toyo or any other condiments or say sauce that you would like to consider. You try it. Wala siyang lasa. Hindi rin siya ganong kalansa. Not unless you fit in yung, we did not include in here yung entrails niya and other internal organs like yung ang tawag doon, gills. Yeah, no gills. Okay. No gills, no entrails. Okay. So you could also consider other fish products. And the best thing, according to my food tech expert, is the imelda fish. Because yung imelda fish, if you're familiar with the imelda fish, it's malanamnam siya. At the same time, may yung lasa niya yung lansa niya nag-stick doon sa material. So you could try. Whatever would be abundant in your place, you could consider that type of fish. And of course, it should be cheaper. Abundance or availability of the resource, and of course, the cost of the raw material.
Ayan, thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. Ang ganda naman po nung naging sagot. And that's actually a good call para sa mga researchers na pwede pa nilang i-explore yung kung ano mang isda, possibly yung abundant sa kanilang community, para din matulungan yung mga fisher folk natin. Kasi paminsan hindi naman maiwasan na hindi naman lahat ng kanilang nahuhuli ay nabebenta. So this can also be a value-adding method para patuloy nga madagdagan yung kita ng ating mga mangingisda. Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. We have last 3 questions. Sana ay okay pa po si Dr. Cherry to answer all these questions. Third, to the last question po. Okay, ang ating, wait lang. Okay, so this is our question now. Ang maganda po kasi dun sa naging outcome din po ng R4D project natin ay meron na pong packaging yung product. Meron ng label, okay, registered na po. Now, to those who would like to venture, or maybe to those who would like to start, okay, something like, related or alike to this project, ano po kaya yung mga tips na pwede nyong ibigay sa kanila regarding the registration po nung ganitong klase ng produkto?
Oh, okay. If they have developed, or say they have, the idea itself is actually an intellectual property. So if you already have the idea, you have to protect that idea by registering to the intellectual property office. Yeah. And then idea, and then of course the composition. So we may seek the assistance of the intellectual property office. What is something good is that Picard, I believe, has been funding the protection of product ideas out of the agricultural and natural resources that were being developed. So one of the entities that is providing this support is the Nueva Vizcaya State University IPTBM office. Pina-plug ko na yung office.
That's okay, Doc Cherry. Ayan, so that's an idea po to those who would like to try, or possibly meron nang nade-develop na ganitong technology or even product. So kailangan po ma-secure natin yung utility model, yung registration. Okay, so this leads me to the last 2 questions po. Doc Cherry, if I may ask you, after this R4D project implementation, and on top of the successes that we now have, because of this R4D collaboration with the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research, what would be your concise and very impactful message to your fellow researchers, to those who are doing R4D works, to those who would like to help the farmers and the fisher folk of our country? What would be your message to them po?
Okay. So my message would be, if you really wanna extend help, you should earn commitment. I would say earn kasi most researchers, especially in the academy, would just do research for them to achieve something. But on my part, I wasn't really opting for something to achieve one goal for me to just lift my position. But I really did I really did implement this out of commitment and support. It's something that commitment is a big word, and it's really difficult to do and to give and to share, especially for us who are employed in the government, okay? Especially for us who have families. And if you're a researcher, um, you should have a purpose why you're conducting that research. The purpose is to uh, that knowledge should be shared, should not just be kept. So that's
Ayan,
part.
thank you so much. Yes po, ang ganda nung shinare ni Doc Cherry. Ano, we should have a purpose, and when we have the purpose, we must remain commit, committed. Ano, thank you so much. And don't worry dahil sa Research for Development community naman, we are also receiving commitments from different role players po, ano, just like the Bureau of Agricultural Research, collaborating with research implementers like the NVSU, ano. So hopefully ano, magtulong-tulong po tayo para patuloy po nating matulungan ang ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda. Now this is the last question, Doc Cherry. Para naman po sa ating mga fisher folk in particular, and even food processors, because they are the ones probably directly involved with this particular topic. What can be your concise and impactful message to them? Most particularly siguro, how do we encourage them to trust or to try such technologies that researchers like you are actually developing?
Ang hirap sagutin. Char. Okay. Hindi ko kasi gauge kung gaano impactful yung message na hinihingi mo. But I just try my shot. Okay. So, for fisher folks, actually, based on my experience, the fisher folks do not actually, they have their market already. Yeah. So those that I have connected with already have their market. So but however, sometimes when you introduce new technology, normally they are yung change, yung hesitant sila to adapt. The adoption would really be very difficult. So that is given. So because these fisher folks that we have encountered or we have are basically looking for a means of living. So for those big fisher folks, or say big group, or say how do we call that? It's not just backyard but commercial. They operate in a commercial scale. It's also good for them that they could also develop products out of the fish products that they produced. They may also consider manufacturing. But I guess I have seen manufacturers like in Bulacan. They grow bangus and they process it, and then actually they have immediate market for that. I seen one company in Bulacan. He has a factory. Is a It's a factory for fish. Bangus siya. Bangus. And they engage in not just production of fish, but manufacturing of the bangus product in different form, like tinapa or something like that. Okay. I don't know what im- how impactful it is. My message is that for those small growers, maybe they have to keep on trying to look for a better market, or say if they could not find a better market for product, they could also I just encourage them to engage in manufacturing as well. So they may not have yet the uh, motivation to do that because of various factors. I don't know what are those, but actually these are the difficulties of life that they encounter. So, but somehow, I don't know how impactful it is to encourage them to also consider trying to engage in manufacturing and um, increase more of their produced. And then for ano yung next isang question mo, sir? Other than the Fisher Fox?
Sila ma'am talaga in particular kasi 'di ba yung iba natin hindi lang yung fisher folk kahit yung mga farmers po natin paminsan when they encounter technologies po na generate through R4D projects paminsan they are really hesitant na i-adapt or subukan. Kaya nga po yung mga ganitong klase ng presentation is actually a good one to encourage them na yung mga na-generate po natin technologies ay may magandang pinatutunguhan, and hopefully sila po yung makinabang in the largest scale. So sila po talaga yung ating gustong bigyan ng ganitong klase na mensahe. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. And regards to the entire research community and all our partners. Invite our viewers. Please hit that heart, applause, like reaction para pasalamatan po si Doc Cherry for generously sharing her expertise, the research results of the R4D project, and answering those queries din po that we had a while ago. Ayan, at bilang pasasalamat po ng DA Bureau of Agricultural Research, we'll now be proceeding to the awarding of the Certificate of Appreciation. So we will be handing this certificate to you in a while, Doc Cherry. But for the meantime, allow me to read the citation of the certificate. Okay. The Bureau of Agricultural Research awards this Certificate of Appreciation to Cherry B. Cabading for sharing her invaluable knowledge during the DA Bar online seminar series titled Commercialization of NVSU's Fish Cream Soup, held today, 16th of May 2024 via StreamYard and DA Bar official Facebook page. Signed by our dear Director, Dr. Junel B. Soriano. So there, maraming salamat, ma'am. May gusto po ba kayong pasalamatan? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much to DA Bar for giving me this opportunity, and thank you to Dr. Junel Soriano and everyone at this room. Good morning and thank you. Thank you also to my project team and to Nueva Vizcaya State University, Dr. Wilfred, Dr. Jonor, and to the College of Business Education faculty members.
Ayan, thank you so much and congratulations po, Dr. Cherry. So, to our viewers po, do not forget to fill out the feedback form. You can see the link that we have in the comment section for you to receive a certificate din po. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng sumubaybay sa ating topic, sa ating pong paksa ngayong umaga. Huwag po kayong mag-alala, pwede po ninyong, abangan po pala ninyo ang infographics at ang frequently asked questions. This will be published po in our official Facebook page in a while. So these materials po will still be about the topic that we had for this morning. Ayan. So nawa marami po tayong nakuhang bagong mga kaalaman sa ating pong paksa ngayong araw. Bisitahin din po ninyo ang aming official YouTube account. Pwede po ninyong panoorin itong seminar series na ito sa aming FB page at sa aming YouTube account. together with other seminar topics po na ginawa na po natin for the past year. So, pwedeng-pwede po niyong bisitahin yung mga presentation. At patuloy po ninyong subaybayan ang ating mga seminar kada ikatlong Huwebes ng bawat buwan. Dito po nagtatapos ang ating seminar. Marami pong salamat at pagpalain po tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Cherry.
Thank you too.
God bless.